now.
Not until later. Well, I can set up small comms, but I can't set up party comms.
Hey,
Until later.
it's a start.
I'm really laughing because comms and all that is exactly what our audience has heard as we come into this session of Plot Points. Welcome, friends. We're so glad you could join us here tonight. We hope you tuned in just a touch early to see our magical countdown. We have Harley the cat, who will be playing Anna Valerious today. I wouldn't expect Anna to say very much, but she just might come over and slap you upside the head for no reason, because that's what the cats do. Welcome and thank you. I'm going to let our players introduce ourselves. For those in the audience that are wondering what are all those strange numbers on the screen, the players have asked for their plot points to be listed on the screen so that you as viewers can decide not only who to give plot points to, but encourage them when to use them. So how is that for wanting to make you part of the show? Go ahead and take it away. Since Anna brought a cat, Anna can start us off.
So I'm Katrin and I play Anna Valerious. And of course, here's my little Harley kitty cat. He decided to join me today. Other than that, I'm a ranger half elf and we're level 3. So of course we got to, get a couple new things being level 3. So it should make for an interesting game today. And I will pass it off to Eric.
All right, thanks. Hey guys, my name's Eric. Geez, what can I say? I play a Warlock Arakocra, named Griffin, whatever you prefer. But as Kat said, we're all level 3 now. Added some cool new things to our characters, so I'm super excited about using that. If it needs to be, because it has combat related stuff for mine. So, but other than that, glad all of you are here. And I'm gonna send it off to Mike.
Hey guys, I'm Mike. I play Den of Wolves, who's a Tabaxi rogue. Super excited to hit level 3 and get finally that art subtype that's so important for us rogues. I'm just really excited to test out some of the things and see how they work in combat, since I've never played this one before. And then I'll toss it right on over to Brock. I almost went to say Brick for some reason.
Hello, everybody.
Brock, Brick.
I will be playing Blaze, the Dragonborn Druid. It's completely opposite of any characters I've played before, so I'm learning as we go. Hopefully I won't be a disappointment. And unlike the others that were excited to get to level 3, I didn't even realize we ever got to level 2, so I missed that whole level. So level 3 should be pretty exciting.
This might be why he was dying last session. Where
This really might be. Now we know.
Right?
suddenly things are becoming a lot more clear.
Wow.
So we should be all set for tonight.
He's gonna absolutely own everything. He's gonna be great.
He's like, my God, I have magic. Oh my. So one of the other things that you will be noticing, folks, as you play along with us tonight, because never forget that you as our viewers are part of our sitting table, which means you can affect the outcome. Well, we spent a little extra time this week to be able to do some fun things like give you visuals not only on, and I'm going to pick on, let's see, Eric, since he's here having fun. If you're watching along, let's say you wanted to give Eric inspiration. Let me switch over to studio mode. You'd be able to do that and see that the inspiration comes up for Eric. Similarly, if you make that devil's bargain to give the DM one, which you will see at the top right near my window, that little black D6, but you can give Eric a D4, which is just so nice and sweet of you to do. Eric would love it if you did that. He'd love inspiration as well. And then, of course, there's always double healing, which you can offer. What that does is that when you give that, the next healing the person receives, or if they're capable of giving through magic or something else, they would be able to double that up. That works for everything from short rest, long rest, medical healing, magical, whatever. But we just basically double the dice roll. So you have a lot of ways in which you get to affect the game. So take care, use all your plot points, get into it, have fun with it, and in the meantime, we're about to start our fun. Ding, 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 ding. I should probably not have the Twitch chat up yet. You really can't see it up at the top. It's kind of interesting. The Twitch chat, of course, until we fill the top, the bottom part doesn't get shown. So I'm going to have to remember to always have something there when we open the show. We do have our wonderful map views and whatnot. I do need to put, look at that. Let's get Anna her. What we're doing real quick, so that I don't have to do it later, because let's be real. I don't want to do all this stuff later on. Right now, for our crew that doesn't know what the heck I'm doing, I am moving everybody's numbers into their appropriate place. Who had 27? Was that Brock?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Brock. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta put yours into your place, into your character. Mike
You
has
can go ahead
7.
and put an inspiration icon up there too, because I've got one of those.
Yeah, we took that away for no reason whatsoever, just because we're really cruel. We'll get that into place here. And our viewers can earn, I know there's a way for me to give extra channel points and whatnot, but whenever we bounce back and forth between our two screens, we have to manually reset different things. So for instance, right now, and we'll show everybody what's going on. If I give Brock his inspiration here, but we go over to the main screen, you'll say, oh, Brock's inspiration died. That's because basically I have to go over there and click it on here. It's just one of those little things when we switch back and forth. But if we're ever missing something, viewers, we give you that power and that invitation to let us know so that we can get it fixed for all of you. Because again, we want you to have a great time at the table as well. With no further ado, and turning down a little of my background music because it's getting loud in my ears, let's begin. We left off last week with our amazing players having just finished their first graduation adventure, if you will. They got aboard the Sea Hag, which was a ship, took it out to sea with their captive prisoner, their what they thought was a new crewmate along with them, only to find out quickly that the crewmate was actually somebody the crew knew, because the crewmate was a changeling and was actually the same person they thought had mysteriously died by falling off a set of steps and breaking their neck, was actually their captain, who had used a feigned death spell and whatnot to prevent them when they tried to heal this individual from coming back to life, because the captain wanted to see what they could do on their own. It was part of their graduation test. He was not just their contact, who had pretended to be this woman, Mars. Mars is actually a male, or so they think, again, changeling. And the person that they had captured is a witch, but was actually somebody Mars knew. Now, that was not part of a setup. It wasn't that the witch was going to be nice. The witch didn't know this was coming. But they did manage to capture her. They got her to the Sea Hag, where she met her old friend Mars. One of the clues that they had wondered about was the fact that the witch kept referring to Mars as a male, but the Mars they knew was a female. This all came out a little bit later. And now they have left the port behind, a place that they had set fire to by putting off a signal flare to get something started there. They didn't actually set the flames. They were just part of key having these things happen, leaving a smashed up governor's mansion, if you will. It's not a governor. He calls himself the sovereign, but the sovereign's mansion and a couple other things. So they left, as the phrase goes, a trail of dead bodies behind them, even though there was only X number of dead bodies. So they left under exciting circumstances, which, hey, we play D&D because we want it to be exciting. So God bless them and their Sea Hag boat. Setting sail, you've headed south, and I'm sure a few people would probably like to know some of the general view here. So looking at the map, when you head south, oh, roll 20, you crashed on me. Why would you do that? Alright, so I will go over and fix that here in a moment.
Good old internet.
Yeah, it happens. It does happen. I have the map up on view for our audience. They're on the east coast. If you follow that mountain line down, there's a city right on the edge, and that is exactly where they were, in that city. And they've left there, headed south along the coast towards that next river inlet, passing the mountains. They will come within sight of the heavenly city, a floating city in the sky. That was where they originally thought they were headed. And Mars asks you all, do you want me to drop you off there? If you remember last session, he actually presented you with message stones. Does anybody remember that?
Yep.
Yes, I wrote it down.
Okay. He presented you with these message stones so that you could get information on your next venture that you would be called to. And Mars is asking you whether or not you want to be dropped off at the city. The reason he's asking you is his own message stone has gone off. He, like you, is answerable to somebody above. Does he name who? Nope. Any more than you would name who you're working for. Each of you from your own nations. The message he
Heavenly
got
City
was
seems like a good place.
The message he got was that you're going to be receiving your own message soon. He is planning on going to the Heavenly City, which is why he's offering to drop you off. And when you get into port, you're docked there. The sea hag looks like crud on the outside. He purposely, you have found out, leaves it this way intentionally because floating little boats like that don't draw a lot of attention. And in his business, he doesn't want to draw a lot of attention. You're in this port, not at the actual Heavenly City itself, but on the other side. See, the Heavenly City floats above what is known as the lower city, or the city in shadows. This city never gets light. Why? Because there's a city floating above it. It's a lower class of citizen here. It is also where all the main docks are to bring everything in for the Heavenly City. He's docked here, told you that you're going to be getting your own message soon, most likely, and wants to know if you want to go ashore or whatnot. Anna clearly wants to. How about the rest of you?
I love to explore new places.
There you go. Griff now kind of, I'm assuming it's been some time since his last drink, is now sober. But not, as usual, doesn't feel like 100%. Not even sure exactly what happened prior. But he goes and he says, "Oh, city in the sky? I like that."
Yeah, you would.
Robin, who is severely damaged, still has a what is a broken leg and whatnot, looks excitedly as
Poor
his
Robin.
master, talks about this sky city. Robin the Kenku brushes up close, limping closer, and looks excitedly from the deck up at that city in the sky, nodding yes. He wants to go up there too with his master. So clearly there will be another flying lesson soon.
Don't push him off the city.
Griff actually looks at Robin, and he's not entirely sure how Robin got the way he got. But he kind of just assumes by saying, "Oh, Robin, did I convince you that you could fly again? We'll do it again sometime."
Robin looks at him straight-beaked and nods yes, because that's, of course, the whole deal that the Arakocra promised him to teach him to fly. And so Robin's here, ready to serve, ready to follow you anywhere. Looking forward to this time when he will be the first Kenku to fly again.
But at some point on this journey, the cup of cocoa was passed around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we had long rests and stuff too, right?
Imagine.
Go.
Yeah, it takes the better part of a day to get down here. The sea hag's quite quick on the water. She may look like garbage on the outside, but just as when you're down underneath, it's a fast boat. You can see it. I laugh every time the name of Brock's character comes across the screen because it's so long it literally goes into his plot points and whatnot. And I'm like,
Oh, man.
it's like from edge to edge of the actual, video. It's like,
Well,
Look at
I
that.
hey,
suppose
how do we
should-
say your name, Brock?
Blaze.
That's it. All of that just for Blaze.
Because I'm not even trying.
There's not a pronunciation in the human language.
They just like a lot of letters.
When somebody just smashes the keyboard and says, "That's my name."
Do they speak in Welsh? It's like trying to speak that.
Oh, my in real life, my grandfather's from Wales, and he would actually speak in Welsh, and it's very guttural, very back. And he would talk
And they
about
have
because-
names like that,
In fact, you can still get it. There's a picture of a postcard, and it's of this red bridge in Wales, And I remember him teaching me how to say it, and it's like, but the name goes from edge to edge of the postcard. And they're like, the name is longer than the bridge. You know, and he'd be like, it's, and he would just rhyme this thing off, and I'm like, wow, because
Okay,
when you
Gramps.
read Welsh, it doesn't sound like what you're reading. You're like, okay, sure. Got it, Gramps. Yeah.
Whatever you say.
And that's Blaze's name. There you go. Now you get it.
Blaze.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Blayzegorgonythrillxred.
Oh man.
Coming into the city,
All right.
the
Yes,
dock
let's
workers.
go
Hey! Hello, peeps. I like that. Hola. Hola. Eyo, peeps. Drinking my morning tea. How? I don't have tea. I only have water.
I don't know. Why didn't you make yourself tea?
No, I made us overlays.
Uh-huh.
I have water.
You the man.
I have nothing.
That's not good for you.
I have a burning need to
I
find out
prepared.
what you're gonna do in this city. The City of Shadows is dark. You can see, I mean, ambient light comes around the city up above, but it is. I don't want to call it dirty precisely, because there's a strong sense of order here. From the very minute you get off the boats, you can identify quickly individuals who keep the order here, who watch others. Yet the individuals that are unloading other boats and whatnot, you can get a sense of depressed atmosphere here. The light never touches this place, and the people without light live in not only a physical darkness, but an emotional shadow as well. They're
So sad.
it's hysterical to Anna. Anna laughs as
My
she looks
cat.
out at their depressed life. She's like,
Peasants where they
Cats are
belong.
distracting me.
Maybe they just need hugs.
one of the things that
Gonna
stands
go hug
out is an individual walking along with a large longsword across their back. Their hair pulled tight into a ponytail. Their armor made of this wicker over them. Loose-fitting clothes. And as they walk along, others part the way before them, and you get a sense of authority as this individual walks through. The captain, in the meantime, Mars, looks at you all and says, watch out for ones like that. The samurai do not broker any foolishness, any breaking of the rules. And it's probably the first time you've seen Mars take on a very serious tone.
I look
Usually
at Griff.
she is pretty jocular.
Oh, we never break the rules around here. We're fine.
I'm
Griff, you
fine.
might want to stay on the boat.
Yeah, when you drink too much.
Hey, listen. I get it. Okay, never mind. I don't know where I was going there, but you're right. You're right.
Griff, you might as well just calm down.
Good. For now.
There shouldn't be anything behind the curtain for you, mister. Saw you lifting up that curtain.
Speaking of lifting the curtain, are you all then heading down off the docks or off the boat into the docks?
Yeah,
Sure,
we gotta
why
go
not?
explore, I think.
Let's
Mhm.
do it.
I can't leave these guys alone.
Would you like
Still put
to?
Griff in the lead.
What are you looking for?
Well, probably a way to get up to the Sky City.
Well, that'll be pretty easy for me.
Yeah, well,
Not
we
if
all
I
can't
hold
fly.
Yeah, that's right.
Robin stays back on the boat because you know his limping and his broken leg will slow you down a whole lot.
Yeah, but if we decide to stay here, that's going to be a problem.
How would you like to
Is a
handle it?
boat? Is a boat like going anywhere anytime soon, or is it just making a pit stop for us?
Mar says he was planning to do some business here of his own, and he can absolutely stay till tomorrow. There shouldn't be any problem with that,
Okay.
barring
Wonderful.
anything unforeseen.
Robin, stay with the
well-
boat.
Yes, and if he has to leave early, go find yourself some lodging.
If you can do that.
Robin looks
I
at
hope
you.
he could handle that.
Of course he can, you know. He's like, dude, looks insulted by that you would even ask the question.
Oh man.
I've seen his master. I don't trust it.
If he's anything like his master, he'll be fantastic. Mostly.
Bye.
There's no bragging here. Speaking of bragging, an individual hears you speaking and walks over to you, Griffin, and he goes, "You speak. You're one of the," and he says Arakocra with an accent that the others haven't heard before, but it's so close to the way that your people say it. Even though he's human, it stands out to you. The individual quickly introduces himself and says, "I'm Shamus."
Hi. Nice to meet you. How
goes-
do you...
"Are you from the West?"
Perhaps? What is it to you?
He goes, "I've just never seen one of your people here." He goes, "Coming this far to the east." He goes, "It's magnificent." He goes, "I'd always hoped that your people would travel this far." He goes, "All the way from the colder northern climes." He goes, "Your feathers, they look somewhat different." And he reaches out to like start touching you as if you were like something scientific and just,
Whoa. Slow your roll there. I get it. We've got an intellectual over here who clearly has good taste, but... why are you so fascinated by me?
he apologizes profusely. He goes, I'm sorry about my curiosity. He goes, when I went to the West some years ago, he goes, I had the privilege of staying with a nest. He goes, and it was an amazing time. He goes, we were actually in search of, I guess that doesn't matter and whatnot. He goes, but your people, he goes, I didn't know. He goes, all of you were the same color. He goes, give or take. He goes, but your colors are magnificent. These reds, it's like fire.
One of a kind, yes. Wait, but you kind of glossed over something real quick. What exactly were you looking for?
Oh, that was with a different expedition. We were going north. We had to find something. He goes, really? He goes, no, you're the focus here. You're the absolute focus. He goes, I just wanted to know. He goes, are you traveling now? He goes, how long? He goes, as I recall, you said your lifespan wasn't that long. He goes, are you 15?
You could say that. I'm relatively young in my age. I don't like throwing it out there because I'm a little insecure about it. But I'm younger though. But I'm out here mostly because I act as an envoy to my people.
Well, I hadn't.
Representation.
They were so closed off. Had we not been scaling the mountain to find, again, running into their territory by mistake, he goes, we would have never found them. He goes, and they, with the fast growth rate, he goes, I would have thought that I would have seen you there.
Well, initially I was, but my duties were elsewhere. After bringing my people to their haven, I had to go and check on relations, because clearly the people around in this realm or plane, whatever you call it, aren't the most friendliest, so we didn't want to go ahead and start a war.
Oh my, so your people are preparing for war then?
Well, we must always prepare for it, but we don't want it.
He leans in close and whispers to you and says, I told you, the samurai, your people were supposed to know that they won't broker that. You do know. And he leans in very close now so that only you can hear. And he says, the Emperor has perfected the flying ships. And then he leans back. He goes, really, whatever you're doing here, he goes, is just fine. He goes, I think I'll be taking my leave now, if you don't mind. And he looks at the big Dragonborn next to you, and he says, leans back into the Arakocra once more and whispers and says, just so you know, traveling with one of the Emperor's creations is likely to get your people caught. All right, I have to go now, and it was a pleasure meeting you all. And he looks at the Tabaxi and looks at each of you and nods his head like 2 or 3 times towards the Dragonborn and then scurries off towards others.
Okay. Odd.
He was a odd little fella.
He was a character. There's some interesting information though about our supposed emperor in this area.
I return his nod, but kind of give him a quizzical look.
When you raise one eyebrow, kind of like part of your lip goes up a little bit with it, showing one of your long teeth, and he, he literally does a half bow before when I said he scurries off, before he takes off at full speed. Then,
Blaze, someone's finally scared of you.
why can I not find?
That's because now he knows I'm level 3.
Your level 3 muscles are showing.
They can sense it.
I'm sending a real quick message so you guys can chat here and get into character. You can describe what you're seeing too. Again, we always share the creation of the environment. If I haven't given it to you, talk about what stands out to you most, and we'll go from there. I haven't seen from Chris yet who he wants to give the plot point to. So once Chris does that, he might not have even known. He might have been listening and lurking in the background. So Chris, if you are listening, we just need to know who to send that over to. And he did want to know from Brock, what's up?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably Brock, but who knows?
No, Chris is not Brock.
No, that he wants to give the plot point to Brock.
Might be.
Well, Blaze, is this place familiar to you?
Right?
No reason. I just felt like asking, just out of the blue.
I say roleplay and
might
it goes
be
real
finding out
quiet
if
suddenly.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we asked Blaze a question, but I think you're talking to him, so he's finding out if this place is familiar, I think.
One thing I've noticed around here is it seems like the shadows aren't just dark and black. It's like they almost absorb any type of light that's out there.
Yeah, that's creepy.
That's depressing.
Interesting.
It's creepy in kind of a good way, though.
I bet it is for you.
Do you think we could find our way up to the floating city, or you think we're stuck down here exploring?
Well, I think for now, we might be down here for a bit. At least you people will. But I could certainly find something out.
Yeah,
That's
and you'll
true.
probably
You
get
could go-
shot.
No. That only
It just
happens.
seems to be a trend when you fly.
Well, it just seems to be a trend that you run. But I could figure something out. Don't worry.
Well, since he's sober, he might stand a better chance.
Exactly. My strength is better when I'm drunk, but maybe not my brains.
It might be better for him
Mostly.
to go and fly and check some stuff out now before we end up finding a bar.
I like your idea. And Griff just flies.
That's it. Griff takes off to the sky, spreading these massive wings out to gain loft. Moments later, you're up. You can see these boats, the ships. You get a layout of the land. And one of the quick things that you notice is the city is prospering out towards the edges. Literally, you can see that just from going up like 50 to 100 feet, where the light is. And as it gets darker towards the middle of the city, you see that literally the buildings are even lower. Unlike many other cities where the emperor and the peak is in the middle, the tallest things, and things go around it, this is more like a donut. It's almost on the outsides, and the inner part seems to be much more decrepit, sunken down, older, if you will. And you also get the idea that, again, this middle of the city is almost like a ring around the outside. So how high do you want to go? Do you want to try and fly up to the other city? It's all clouds above you, just dense clouds that you can see. The only reason you know it's a city is because Mars told you about it.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I think Griff wants to go up there and see what's going on. One, because he likes the higher altitudes, and he's just curious. Hopefully he won't get shot. He's not trying to look like he's not being very, I guess, he wants to be hidden to a sense. Let's just say that. because he's kind of learned somewhat of a lesson at least.
Watch out for those arrows.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out birds and arrows don't really mix very well.
As you take higher and go high, heading out, loftier, higher, gaining the wings, it feels... Now, you've been flying on and off, like even as the ship was coming, you were taken to the wing. But there's something here you realize quickly as you start taking aloft. You don't have to beat the air very hard. Literally, the moment you leave the ground, it's almost like you want to be lifted. And you're used to finding thermals and updrafts so that you can fly for literally days and weeks. When your people, and you remember hearing the stories about when your people were on the plane of air, you might never touch ground for like weeks, months. Mm-hmm. You can fly and sleep while flying. But here, there's something physically lifting you off the ground. And it's not updrafts. You don't know what it is. It's almost like your body becomes lighter here. So it takes a little bit of coordination to get the feel for your flying. And you notice that while there were all sorts of birds around the docks, there aren't a whole lot of birds as you go up higher going towards these clouds. Now, these clouds that you're approaching are far too low to be ordinary clouds. You're like maybe a few hundred feet high. You're like, man, you're used to going up high. You know the clouds should be out of reach, but here they're not. You get closer and closer, and as you realize those mists, they seem to move and swirl. They don't dissipate. You've been on mountains before. In fact, the area where your people are literally is this spire to the north from here that goes all the way up towards the clouds. This is almost unnatural as you approach it. In fact, there's nothing almost about it. The wind that you feel should be moving these away, and yet it doesn't. Soon you pierce into them, and the moisture from them is denser and thicker than it should be. Your wings get coated, your peak gets coated, and you break through them, and then you see it, the shining city. There's walls all the way around it. That's nothing for an Arakocra. But you notice that there are many vessels parked at various points of this city. So there's a lower city, there's a city in shadow, and then up here on the clouds there's this lower city, and now this city looks normal because there's a raised middle part within it. As you get closer, you notice that these vessels aren't carts that would pull up to a regular city, but they're boats that are parked on the actual clouds themselves, as if there was a second dock here, as if these people have something that can fly that brings them up here.
There you go. There's the connection.
Yep. This upper dock around the heavenly city, whereas the lower one in shadow seems kind of dirty and whatnot. And again, it's not refuse so much down there, but just a malaise. This one is fastidious. There are few people moving about, and they quickly take sight of this massive bird with wings that extend over 10 feet to 5 feet to either side, flapping away as you gain, and fingers begin to point, and they take notice of you quickly. Would you like to go up higher, go over the city, or head back down?
I'm gonna just dive. I'm not trusting any of that. I'm diving. I got my quick peek.
Because you took a quick peek, I would like you to make a perception roll for me, please.
All right. There we go. It's gonna take a sec. Loading. All right. Cool.
One of the roll 20 is still not loading for me, so I can't see your rolls. Unfortunately.
That's gonna be a 22 then.
A 22. Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
I would love to be showing our viewers your rolls, but again, roll 20 is just... Whoop! And as I say it, I think roll 20 might finally be... I hit refresh on it. Yay! There's your 22 and whatnot. So I can actually show our viewers so that they can see that, because viewers always want to see the rolls. Come on. I know I do. There you go. Look at that. One of the things that you noticed was this silver creature with scales and a long snout. Similar in proportion and shape, a little bit bulkier muscle-wise than your Dragonborn friend. And he's carrying a sword similar to what you saw on the samurai down below. He wears loose-fitting garb, covered in scales, and he was walking along until somebody started pointing towards you, and he stopped and looked just before you dove down below the clouds.
Interesting. Love that.
It's the only other Dragonborn you've ever seen.
Here we go. Seamus is making sense now. But yeah, I'm just gonna dive down and go back to the group and like to convey my information.
Yeah. You guys wait for a few moments, and soon he comes back down. I'll let you show us what that looks like.
All right, cool. So I'm having a good old time, finally getting some good higher elevation air. So you see this guy, this Arakocra dive bombing, but he's doing like a sweet barrel roll, right? Really enjoying the air, feeling it real good between his wings and such. And and then you see him come towards the group, and then just a straight open wing, like break, and then starts like hovering around the group. And he's just gonna go ahead and say, well, up top is pretty interesting. I saw quite a bit. We're looking at some next level shite up there. Talking about flying ships, and one of you, as he points to our dragon boy over there, Mr. Blaze.
Really, another Dragonborn, is there?
Definitely. A lot more prestigious, though, but, you know.
Blaze, you know automatically that your people, in a similar way that Seamus was talking about these Arakocra all the way to the west, which you've never met before, your people are a very solitary people. They live... I don't know if I want to describe all that publicly yet. I'll leave it up to you whether or not you want to describe all that later. But they are solitary in the respect that in your travels since coming down here, you have never bumped in to another Dragonborn before. In fact, it was one of the comments made to you when you were first recruited for this endeavor. They wanted you for your uniqueness, for your unusualness. And since there wasn't anything disagreeable in the offer, you accepted, and you've been through all this training. They've treated you well. Plus, you've had a chance to now get to know an Arakocra, a half-elf, and a Tabaxi. I don't know if your people had ever met Tabaxi before. It's not something in your history, have they?
I've not come across one before.
So it's worked very well for you to have all these things, but hearing about a Dragonborn, clearly it must be either a relative, a distant relative, maybe a cousin, or one that got lost.
My curiosity is definitely piqued. I believe we're heading for a way into the city, trying to find a way for the rest of us to gain access to the upper city.
That's on you then, Griffin.
That's what
that's me?
planning, I think.
Oh.
Is it?
Oh, correct.
So what did you... I think he wants to know what you
find
found out.
anything?
What's the way up?
Right. The way up. Right. Well, looking from where I saw, the city seems to be more intact around the edges where the sun is. So our best bet might be around there, because the center really doesn't look like it has much. So I didn't see a clear way up.
You said something about flying ships.
That's correct. If we can maybe find one of those flying ships down here, that might be a good way up.
Did it look like a place that is open? Did you see like a gate? People
more
like
like
visitors.
More like a dock, but nothing official. The whole top area is gated, well, not gated, but walled. But there is a dock up there, which leads me to believe there must be an entrance.
As you're having this conversation, literally just off the side of the ship with other people passing about, it's easy for others to overhear you since you're just talking in normal voices about finding a way and whatnot. And one of the individuals from the ship next door who's just been watching you all, I mean, not even trying to hide it, just straight up staring at you all, looks and he goes,
We are in an odd group.
he goes, the only way you get on board one of the flying ships to the heavenly city, he goes, if you want to get up to heaven, he goes, you have to be invited. Either that or die.
Oh,
Well,
bye.
He goes,
Who wants
but
to
if you want
die?
to try for the invitation, he goes, you could always head over there to the east. He goes, those are the private docks. The emperor's ships are there and whatnot. He goes, and that's where we tend to have to take all our goods so that they can ship them up on their fancy little flying boats with all their wizards casting their spells.
Okay.
East it is.
Well, let's
Yeah.
go east. Perhaps
Suppose we
can
could
find
give
a
this
way.
a try. What could go wrong?
A
How
lot.
close do we come by the samurai?
The samurai was actually headed east, so if you wanted to try and catch up to him, you could.
So he was going away from us.
Oh yeah, he was just passing by.
Same direction.
Yeah, earlier the description.
Hmm.
It's obviously going to one of those ships.
Okay, so yeah, we could try to go up, or we could just hit up a tavern down here and chill. I mean,
Well,
Not sure we'd get an invite by just chilling in a tavern, but
I'm not sure we'll get an invite by going there.
you know.
well, we could pretend to be some cargo shippers, but I don't believe that's probably likely. Perhaps somewhere in a bar we could find somebody who is.
There you go. But no drinks for you.
Oh, come on.
But they drop off their cargo for them to bring up in the ship, he just said.
Right?
So even then, you'd have to be one of their ship pilots in order to go up, regardless with cargo. So I mean, we
or
can
get
go
invited.
there and see what criteria needs to be met to go up. Let's just do that, because that's the only way we're going up. I just don't think we've hit that criteria.
Oh, I don't either, but we don't even know what it is.
Yes, but it looks nice and fancy up there, I'm sure, and that's not usually my vibe or ours in general. We're just looking around.
What are you trying to say?
So,
Nothing.
are we going to the tavern or are we going to the docks?
Let's just go to the docks and find out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we can appease your
We'll go
curiosity.
scope out the docks first, yeah.
There's bound to be
Then we'll go to a
somebody.
tavern for you.
Surely we could wrangle up some information there on the docks.
True. To the docks.
To the docks it is. You start passing along all these other individuals, and remember, you're walking slowly because your Arakocra friend at top speed on his feet can only max out at 25 as he kind of does the bird walk, walking along, with his little stubby legs. And as you're going along and whatnot, people are naturally staring at a cat person, a bird person, a dragon person, and a half-elf walking along together. It's like, you stand out amongst all these humans.
We're the start of a joke.
There you go.
Only if
The
we
cat and the bird walk into a bar. The cat
Then
smiling.
the Dragonborn comes in.
Yeah. As you move along, again, people tend to get quiet. People tend to stare at you. And you realize maybe they don't work with as many other races here normally. Again, you see some others. You catch it. There's a half orc over there. Oh, look, there is, another half elf, a little different skin. You catch somebody. Oh, yep, there's a dwarf. Oh, there's a whole bunch. Oh, there's a dwarven ship, actually, and whatnot. And then you realize something about that dwarven ship. I need, Blaze, first of all, I need your passive perception, and then I need all of you to make a perception roll.
All right.
Perception.
Yikes. Not this time.
Oh, turn that back.
Ugh.
All right. As far as my passive perception, you just need my number.
Yeah, passive perception is a calculation. You can find it right on your sheet.
Yeah, 15.
Okay. And then I need, I don't think you've made your roll yet. Nope. We've seen Griffin, Anna, and Den.
All right. What am I rolling? Perception check.
Yep.
Yes.
Just click that perception one, bonus there, and it'll pop it right onto the screen for you. And hey, if you like what you're seeing, support us. If you want to mess with the game, use those channel points and mess away. You can give D4s to give these people some extra abilities. You can give inspiration. You have control as the player, the viewer in this game.
I rolled a 10.
Okay, it didn't pop up on screen. Don't know why that is. If you're all linked into Roll20, I thought you were there last session. So.
No, we were having issues with it last week.
All right, so that's something we're gonna have to take care of off screen. Sorry that you can't see all that, folks. With a 10, so Den of Wolves, you notice a smell that is somewhat familiar to you. It takes you back a little bit to your childhood. It is the smell of rotten flesh from the wolves that lived nearby your cat family. There was often rotting flesh there, and sometimes some of your people would actually go and try and steal some of their stuff and whatnot. But when the wolves would leave these things, if they hadn't picked all the bones clean and whatnot, the flesh would begin to rot. And it's coming from the area of that ship. It's very faint, which is why only you probably caught it, where the dwarves were. Do you want to pursue it or move on by?
I just, I tap everyone real quick. I'm just like, do you guys smell that? It smells like rotten flesh. It seems very subtle, but I can kind of smell it coming from over by that ship over there, the dwarven ones.
Probably want to stay away from that then.
Well, there may be something pretty interesting over there.
Or deadly.
Or deadly, yes, even more. Let's do it.
My goodness.
I don't understand how you think.
Yeah.
None of us do.
Head on.
I'm very curious as a viewer, Griffin. So are you like a scavenger bird? Will you eat pretty much anything? Or I don't know how that works for Griffin. Is
Listen,
Griffin.
Griffin. Well, Griffin is as survival warrior as you can get. So he's been trained before in a ways of just like, listen, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And unfortunately, that kind of mentality has bled into his casual life, where he doesn't need to do it, but now he feels like he does, or he can whenever. So yeah, you can consider him a vulture in some parts.
So now, are you more humanoid in that you have to watch what you eat, or are you like a bird where you have to like also eat stones to help your digestion, like break these things up, or what? Is that?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more of a humanoid than eating stones. But yeah, just more humanoid. Just watch.
Cool. Cool. Yep.
Oh God.
He goes from playing Bose, who is a stone, to playing a creature that's like, Bose, you look tasty.
Yummy.
Bose is like, I fear birds.
Oh, that's his character.
So, all that to say, I got so distracted by the food. You guys are passing on by, right? Was that the decision?
Well, Griff's trying to convince us to go and check it out, apparently, but I'm not sure we're agreeing with him.
Yeah, at the end there, I didn't catch if Griff, did you say you head that way, or did you say you continue going forward? You said I.
Oh no, Griff is waiting. Yeah, Griff is waiting for everybody to go. Hey, they're going by
You
themselves.
know, I'm not sure.
I was hoping not, but that's what it sounded like you were saying.
I'm not drunk. If I was, I'd go.
Then you get a plot point, because I appreciate that. In fact, I need to add that onto your sheet. You know, I can no longer just say these things. Now I actually have to like go and add these things on myself. So, plot point, Mike.
I'd say we just keep a note of it and keep on in case we see similar later or them later. And yeah.
Noted then.
Yeah.
As you're moving along the docks, people start calling out, you know, their various things they're selling. You're also hearing a lot of conversation about things being brought in. This is a major shipping section. You also pass by one ship where there's a lot of strange individuals coming off, making lots of racket. People are beating drums. They're dressed colorfully. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced a circus before. Have you?
I don't think so.
Griff certainly has not.
No.
I'd be the only one that might have, but I don't know.
It's up to you. Make the decision.
I've probably seen them. I've probably.
If you have seen a circus, then you recognize the name immediately. The Cirque Ninuego. This is probably one of the biggest circuses ever. Or so the little woman coming down with the giant hat is saying, you know, oh, Cirque Ninuego, finally here to the heavenly city, and oh, out there talking, and a person doing somersaults and whatnot immediately starts going out, talking to people, and you see some other individuals, and they're coming down. What is the one thing that stands out to each of you about what is either coming off the ship or a person? We're going to start off with Anna, who has seen the Cirque du Nuego before. Each of you come up with something. Anna, what is it you notice?
I'm looking for the acrobatics because, you know, that definitely piqued my interest when I saw the circuses before, and I tried to do some of their kind of stuff because, you know, ranger and half elf, and yeah.
So the one that was doing those somersaults out towards the crowd and whatnot, rolling, starts walking on their hands up towards a small child and reaches over and pats the small child on the head with her feet and
I
whatnot.
actually give that a try. I try to walk on my hands.
Make an acrobatics roll for us, please. And let us all
Hopefully I
see.
do good.
I'm going to switch over to the dice so our chat can see it too. You not only do it, you do it with ease and walk up on your hands to the other person, giving a high foot to one another as you do so.
Woohoo!
The individual looks at you, and she appears to be actually of the same race that you see here. There's similar facial features, similar pallor to the skin, and whatnot. And when she speaks, her common is actually a high common. In other words, she throws in an elongated and an enunciation that's unlike these other dock workers as she says, Are you coming to join the circus?
No, I got my own little circus here.
She looks around, you know, her head just about 1.5 feet off the ground. I would think so, dragging all those weapons behind you, which, of course, once you stood on your hands, your bow and everything else is just kind of dragging. Your arrows fell out on the ground back near your friends. You know, so it's like, you know, but you walked over and your friends obviously took care of your extras that fell out. Your money pouch or anything didn't fall off, but, you know, just the things that usually need to stay upright and whatnot. What do you notice?
I walk over to her and hand her things back that I picked up off the ground. And in reference to the other one, I say, we may be considering it. Were you guys invited upstairs?
I
noticed that there's a large hodgepodge of characters coming out, and we could easily blend in if we had an invite.
Some of the crowd that was gathered around various individuals backs off when the Dragonborn walks close to you. I mean, with the scales, the face, this look. And you make this comment to her, and she says, well, I could always ask. And before she can even finish, this woman comes over and says, look at you! Aren't you the finest looking scaly lizard man I've ever seen before? She's about 5'4", very voluptuous build. She's very well proportioned, and she looks at you, her curly hair pulled back under this thing, and she takes off. Let me take off my hat to you. Why? What do they call you?
They call me Blaze.
Master Blaze, it must be, and certainly because of the fire you must breathe. I would only imagine. Could you show us some of that? Come on, everybody, don't we want to see this fine Master Blaze? Show us some works.
Actually, I won't show fire, but what I will show is this, and I pull out my whip of entanglement.
No.
Oh, okay. You pull out this whip next to you.
Whip cracking points to show off.
What does that look like before you make your roll? I wish we could see your rolls.
I'm just, you know, whipping it around and doing tricks with it.
Make a roll for us, brother, and tell us what you get.
Like the
and immediately he pulls this out, and the elf who's there is like, Eric, have you and Mike actually caught up? Did you go along with this? Are you, shall we say, within range of this whip?
Oh, well.
Mike, we can't hear you.
I was going to say, Eric.
You're muted.
I coughed earlier and muted myself.
Seeing that whip, Because initially I was on the impression that we were all in the group just walking, but seeing that whip is, yeah, I'd like to get out of range if I had time. I might be like, whoop.
I will let
I'm
you
out.
make a reaction roll. If something should go wrong here, you're going to make your reaction roll to do a dive right now to kind of get out of the way. So show us what your reaction roll is, and then we're going to look at what actually Brock
Alright.
got for his character.
And that's what, D20?
Because you're diving either way.
All right. Give me a sec.
Acrobatics,
There
you
we
can
go.
just click that on your sheet.
Oh, jeez. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, the acrobatics.
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay, what do we got? 21.
Wow. So you go, he pulls out this thing to start whip cracking away. Mike, is your Tabaxi in range?
Yeah, he even moved a little closer, like he was gonna try to stop him, but then realized it was just gonna hurt more if he was if he reached forward.
What did you roll, Brock?
22.
No.
22. Literally, what does it look like, Brock? This show off. Tell us.
I'm doing tricks behind my back, up in front, between my tail and my legs.
Woohoo! He's snapping this thing, moving it, passing it from hand to hand. And what you notice immediately is she's the consummate professional of getting the crowd walked up. She's talking about what he's doing. Master Blaze this, and one of the finest whip masters known throughout the lands, from the free lands to the northern mountains to the unknown areas of the thing. Look at Master Blaze go. And she's actually drawing these individuals scattered away. And she talks about how all this and more you can see with a certain Nuego sets up 2 special shows down below in the City of Shadows before we ascend to the light. Come one, come all, prices affordable, just one of the many masters that we have in our show. And starts talking about all this, and her people are handing out flyers, getting the crowd worked up. And of course, Anna's still on her hands, walking around while the other person on their hands is doing their thing. What do you do during this, Den of Wolves?
I'm wondering how we all lost our minds.
Griffin is helped to his feet as he's rolled away, helped up by one of the other people from a circus, a woman who actually appears to have 2 faces. Part of it is bearded, part of it is not. She's, wow, is she half man, half woman? You really can't tell, but she seems to have almost 2 faces on her.
Is that for Griff or is that for?
Yeah, Griff. She
That's
helped
for Griff?
Yeah, Griff. She
Oh,
helped you
my
up.
bad. I was like, what?
I was about to say,
Okay,
Griff is just
fantastic.
dumbfounded. I've never seen this before.
Just like,
Right.
no.
It's Mars.
Griff is
Mars couldn't figure
Griff
out what he is.
Griff is actually super pleased by all of this because this, like I said before, this is the first time Griff has ever seen any of this. So he's just assuming, wow, the government put out another team just like us, except a lot more. But he looks at this 2-headed person or 2-faced person and is just like, that's funny. And then like opens up his wings and then like does a quick like little hop into the air where he kind of hovers maybe about like 6 feet off the ground, and then says to the little showrunner, "But you asked for fire before, didn't you?" And shoots a firebolt right and straight into the air.
Wow. You take off. The crowd goes wild from the minute your large red wings come out and people scatter so that you can get it easier. And again, you're now used to it. It literally only requires the slightest hop for you to get off the ground and whatnot. And you take to the air, and then you launch out with these firebolts from your hand, and applause goes through the ground and whatnot. And the circus master eats it right up. She plays into this, getting the crowd to go, pointing out your magnificent feathers, the flames and whatnot. And her performers are moving throughout the crowd while others bring elements of the circus off, rolled up canvases, brightly colored things. In fact, shortly thereafter, some of the other individuals start hawking foods and whatnot, vendors that are normally walking along. You get this place thriving, and that malaise seems to go away. It's like life comes into this place. Den of Wolves, what are you doing as all this is happening? People are
Come on,
distracted.
blend in
It
our
is
own
the
unique way
perfect
with us.
opportunity.
Is there like a juggler, like a knife juggler? I'm sure there is.
You were allowed to notice whatever you wanted, so
I'm gonna
you
I'm gonna
noticed
go
the
blend-
knife
Go
juggler.
over them.
You move
and
in,
I'm
and this
gonna-
This individual is doing rudimentary circles and whatnot, and as you get closer, he says, "Oh, back away, cat friend. We wouldn't want to accidentally." Oh, and he almost drops one and goes over and catches it just before it hits you, luckily. And he's like, "Oh, that was close. Make sure you keep your distance."
I'm gonna pull out my 2 daggers and start trying to juggle them with along the same way he is.
Oh,
Make a performance roll for us, please.
There you go.
Thank God I specialize in that. No.
Do you really? Awesome.
No, I don't.
So the Tabaxi quickly thinks he can do this with just 2 daggers.
Ah!
But hey, 2 daggers, you're able to like flip them up and get them down. And
Looks
you're
like
so
we're
good with your
Only
daggers
2 piece of
anyway.
cake.
Yeah, you're like,
When we
woo!
all
it's
just
easy.
went to the circus, guys.
I don't have any more daggers.
Yeah.
You could try and take one of his out of the air.
Little snatch, little steal.
Juggling back and forth.
I'll try to. Why not? At this point,
I would like you to make 2 rolls, a sleight of hand and a performance roll.
There you go.
Sleight of hand, you
Sleight
actually
of hand.
reach out real quickly, timing it just right, and then a performance roll to see what we do. You actually get it out. You snatch his dagger right out of the air, and you have yours going and whatnot. But his is of a different weight, and as you do so, yours, which are just balanced, and you're like, woo, 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 you end up flipping his really high into the air. And you're like, oh crud, that got away from me really quick and whatnot. But you know what? It ends up looking like part of the show as it comes down just a moment out of rhythm, and the man laughs and applauds, and he goes, "Well done." He's able to applaud, literally flipping his 2 daggers with just one hand now, and in between, he's like. Applauding for you. This guy's consummate professional, and you have been able to pull it off, juggling along with him. And the woman who's running this entire show is just applauding. Like I said, pamphlets are starting to go out. She gives all the details, and you realize there's going to be 2 shows, one tonight, one tomorrow morning, and you guys are able to pick up before they will be heading up to the heavenly city themselves. You know where it is, you know the flyers and whatnot. There's some food passed around, and slowly as the crowd breaks up and some of her people get off and the individuals from the boat are carrying the things north, she comes over to talk to all of you. Now that things are down low, Catherine, I'm going to assume that Anna's back on her feet by this point and whatnot. You have all your items that Blaze has brought over. She says, "What do you call yourselves?"
Oh God.
Misfits.
No.
that's pretty accurate, actually.
Right?
The Magnificent Misfits, if anything.
Always better if you had Magnificent before.
It's a double M.
Yeah, right. He likes alliteration.
Blaze, how do you respond as they are now calling you Misfits? Magnificent Misfits.
I just kind of gesture to the others and say, "It looks like we kind of joined the circus. I believe they're heading the same place we're heading. Maybe we can each benefit from each other."
Whip still in hand from all his whip cracking things. He's gesturing towards each one of you, and Griffin kind of like goes a little away. Even though the whip's coiled up, it's like Griffin doesn't seem to like your whip very much.
All right.
The Magnificent Misfits. Well, I have a place for you, she says, where you would fit right in. The certain and away go. You don't need to be a misfit in the world anymore. I can give you a job. I can take you around. I can take you to places you've never seen. Have you ever been up to the heavenly city up there? And then she looks to her fine feathered friend and she says, well, certainly you have. You've probably gone so close as to touch the sun. But how about the rest of you, my friends? You can join the certain and away go. I've seen your talents, and I could bring you in. I could make a room for you to have a home like you've never had before.
What kind of contract is it?
Contract. We can talk about all the details. Just say yes, and I'll invite you in, and we'll work it all out together. Imagine, friends, you would be able to have more than these clothes that you wear now. A place where you could hang your hat, hang your bow, hang your whip. You could belong.
Not sure we can handle anything long term.
Well, how about we give it a
engagement, maybe?
special engagement it is, just like we're doing for the fine folk here. And she spreads her arms wide as if the City of Shadows was the lightest, brightest place in the world. And she says, just like the fine folk here at the City of Shadows, they will expect a special engagement, and you shall be part of tonight's show. Yes?
I think we could do tonight.
This will be pretty fun.
Oh.
And just like that, you're part of the Certain and Away Go. She brings you along, walking with you through all these things, and you realize it's not her first time here. She starts talking about various individuals. She goes over and talks to somebody and asks where a certain ship is, when they were in dock last. She is the consummate individual for talking to others, and you realize quickly, even people she hasn't met are her best friend. She talks to them.
She could be a good person to know. Good friend to have.
About a half a mile up, Brock, you notice, because Blaze was purposely looking, you're passing by, you're not quite there yet, you're only a half mile away from the ship that they came down off of, and you see the samurai off on the side up near a building where they were talking with others, but as the circus started coming through, they stopped what they're doing, and their eyes literally became these flat slits of glaring. It's almost like an anime cartoon artist draws this, as the individual just stares, looking out as everybody passes. And the individual they were talking to is just head down, waiting for them to continue the conversation again with them, as they stare at all of you passing this circus of freaks that you fit right into. Again, you're probably a little more adventurous, a little more armored, a little less flamboyant, shall we say. You bear the looks of armor, and of course the circus master has talked to you about, how she's going to adorn you, and they have individuals and whatnot. Do you want to take any of that up, or just take it in, Blaze, as you pass?
I'm taking it in. What kind of vibes do I get off this samurai as we pass by? Is he approachable?
It definitely on the surface does not look approachable. You can make an insight roll to possibly understand motives of why based on body pose and who they're looking at.
18 on insight.
Wow. You get that it is not directed at you. It seems to be very much everything about the circus this person despises. The loudness, the brightness, the motives. It is just a straight out glaring of distrust of everybody. It would be like the Thieves Guild had just walked in and said, "Hi, we're setting up shop." And you get this perception that this person is authority here, very much like Mars had said. You get that good cop, bad cop thing, and this is the good cop watching going, mm-hmm. So you move on, and after about a mile, the docks become a little bit nicer. You notice there's more authority here, far less. There's wagons that are bringing things up, carts, boxes, other stuff. It's here where the Certain and Away Go people have tailored off and gone into the darkness more, away from the dark area, following this street down and in. You realize as she talks again, it's as if everything was still bright lights. Soon, there are actually lanterns lit to try and bring some light to the area. And she talks about how you're going to this field. And when you finally get there, some of her people, which were moving all these things coming off, have already started setting up tents. And you realize the people here in advance had this area. And her people are clearing out trash and other things from what amounts to a vacant lot, where she is quickly setting up and her people are setting up lights. And literally, as you watch her people continue to set up lanterns, making this glowing spot, multiple tents, things happening. And all the while, they're also ushering other people away who are coming to see the circus. She's like, tonight, we'll be open tonight and all this. And her people they all have these roles of preparing, moving people out, setting things up, literally creating a city in the city beneath the city as the circus comes to life.
Do we have a area that we're supposed to go to get staged?
Do we get cool costumes?
I don't think you need a costume. You're adorned with your feathers.
Oh, please. Everybody needs a costume in the circus.
You've got a matching one with Robin.
Oh,
If
man.
only Robin were here.
Robin, yeah.
I know. Whoops.
The circus master has told you that not only are you going to be garbed, she has special individuals to make costumes for you tonight. She actually invites you to break bread with her and a select set of other individuals. She has a few things to take care of, but tells you just let anyone know here that Arimathea has told you that you are to be treated as family. Just use my word and anyone will make you welcome here. Please talk, because I know you were concerned about the contract. Ask them whether or not they're happy. Just tell them that Arimathea has told you to be welcome here. And they won't usher you off like all the rabble. Actually, she never uses the word rabble. Like all the locals, all those who would come to watch, for you will be treated as family.
All right.
Lovely.
She tells you where to meet. She says, you'll be able to find my wagon easily. They haven't quite unloaded it yet, she goes, but it'll be off soon, and it'll be assembled. Anybody will be able to point it out to you. I'll talk to you soon, kiddos. And she tips her massive hat to all of you, the giant curls of hair pouring out, and somehow she puts the hat back on, she tucks some of it up into it, and walks off, and starts immediately
older
calling
than her.
out to individuals.
Well, does this kind of thing happen often? Because this is quite nice.
I've seen a fair a circus or two in my time. They're definitely interesting, but a lot of times, because they move around so much, while the locals usually enjoy it, I'm not sure they're trusted that well. Fair folk are just, yeah.
I don't understand.
I learned a thing or two from some of them, though.
Oh, I'm sure they seem like they have a bunch of skills and I don't know, just different people, which is nice. It shows a lot about the culture here. I have to tell people my people when I get back.
Yes, the circus is definitely a tale to tell.
Perhaps the Arakocra can create something like that. Should be interesting.
You're all chatting amongst yourselves, and you hear this blast of trumpets, but it doesn't sound like music. It sounds more like a cry. And you see coming towards you this man,
Elephants?
big man, leading this massive creature, this gray thing, this house on 4 legs that's moving with gigantic tusks coming out the front. And the blast has come from this snout that is too long and seems to move through the air like a snake. And you see an elephant, a creature that none of you from your history before has ever seen.
Yeah, no.
You who've been to the circus, the half-elf, have seen it before. Cirque Ninawago is famous not only for its acts, but all its attractions, its animal attractions. And the elephant is pulling behind it this massive set of 3 cages, almost like a train, as the elephant pulls them in. And within these cages are various wild creatures portrayed by drawings on the outside, but over the cages are tarps to give privacy to what's within. You see
They
it
like
painted.
to use those creatures as both an attraction and as a worker.
Holy shit, it's ginormous. I didn't know you folk had things this large on the ground.
The house slowly moves by, and the large, strong man leading it, tattoos covering many of the muscles and whatnot, flexes and winks over towards the half-elf as he goes by.
Good golly.
Says, hey, beautiful, you supposed to be here?
Oh, yes, we're here because of Arimathea.
The man straightens up a little bit. Friends of Circus Master, are ya?
Yes, the circus mistress, yes.
He goes, oh, I wouldn't call her a mistress. He goes, she prefers master. He goes, I'll be seeing you. Continue, never stops. Doesn't stop the elephant, in the cages. And you
got work
realize
to do.
why. Yep. And he moves them on by, and you guys watch these cages go by. Is there anything in particular you want to look for or do while you have
Do we
wait?
hear any of the sounds in the cages to be able to figure out what they are? Like, does somebody hear a cat sound?
You can tell actually by the drawings on the side of them. Like the one is a gigantic it appears to be a snake with two humanoid bodies coming out from one snake. The other one appears to be large, furry creatures, and they're painted to be drawn swinging from branches with vicious tusks and whatnot, and brightly colored snouts. The third one that goes by appears to be some sort of land creature. It's painted with long flowing stalks behind it and wild hair on this four-legged creature. And it's all rear low and long and sleek with a tail. And again, the front part comes up to be the torso of a well-chested man with these four furry legs behind it.
I'm not sure I've seen any of those creatures before, though.
Quite peculiar. Almost
Right?
unnatural. But, yeah, it could be interesting.
I think we should maybe, I mean, I know they're all busy working, but maybe they'll take some time to talk while they work, and we can learn a little bit more about Arimathea from some of these circus people.
Can go try to find out, snoop around.
Yeah.
Snooping.
Do the
Aye.
Misfits want to split up and look for different things and gather information, or?
Hmm.
We wouldn't suggest splitting up. Maybe groups of two.
Ah,
Pair up?
Yeah. Pair up.
Yeah.
That way we can cover a little more ground, but not be completely split up.
wonderful. I'll take Blaze.
All right.
The massive Dragonborn and the little bird friend pair up
We'll head
together.
to the left.
Heading to the left, you walk off after the
rogue.
elephants and with the trailers down towards that way where they were headed. How about you, Mike Catron? What do you want to do?
Real quick, while we're all still together, I'm gonna try to form this a psychic link with Blaze, which is just like one of my abilities that lasts for a couple hours,
That way
Nice.
you can talk to
Namely-
them before. Yeah.
mainly
good.
3 hours.
All
And
right. That gives us some time.
Blaze, you hear me whisper into your mind. Can you hear me? Okay.
Like, what? Huh?
So then me and
Now, is this like
And
a
I
psychic
can
link?
pair.
We can talk without me actually speaking.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. I was trying
So
to
we'll just
confirm it.
relay information back and forth and what time we'll meet up and all that stuff.
Yeah, and anything important that comes up for the most part. That way the groups can know if something happens
Mm-hmm.
with another one.
While we're out gathering information, I'm going to be looking for different objects to use in my performance.
Okay. That's smart.
All right.
And
I
you're
look
good at
around.
sneaky, right?
Sorry about that. I heard something about a performance, but I was in the middle of typing. What was it you wanted, Brock?
I just said while we're out searching around for some information, I'm going to be looking for stuff I can use in my performance tonight. Some plates to crack with my whip or some candles I can light and put out with the tip of my whip.
Okay, so you and the Tabaxi are traveling together, and you immediately start looking for these different things, starting to get to know some individuals.
No, him and the Arakocra.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bird.
so
With the
sorry,
bird.
not the Tabaxi. I apologize about that. And so, just my deepest apologies. Oh, I do need to give. I forgot. I need to give Catron inspiration because you brought your backstory in, having met the circus before. So, boom, you now have inspiration. I don't think, and we actually got Arakocra history because of. No, actually, we didn't. We got Arakocra bullshit. So, so never mind. That's not history. And backstory because he's from a.
Well, no.
You're not from the
well-
Northwest and whatnot, far north. You're from
No.
the yeah. I was like,
Well, I did bring in parts of my history, though.
what did you bring in? Help me out. I'll
The
give you
fact that I
inspiration.
brought my people over from the plane.
Oh, okay. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
That's
was you
a
that did
fact.
that. I even learned something that's right. Here you go. So I give you inspiration as well. Mike, did Den of Wolves bring in any of the history there?
No,
Okay.
not that I can think of.
History, backstory, flaws, things like that. So there you go. So 3 of our players have inspiration now. You are led towards individuals who offer supplies and whatnot. The Blaze, you're quickly able to figure out that they will have whatever you would like. They can get plates. They can do other things. They also ask you some interesting questions when you mention Arimathea and whatnot about, do you want these to be pre-broken? Do you want, things like this? Do you need them to be lighter? So you realize very quickly that it is also part of a show, so not everything appears quite as it seems. Do you need anybody to break these for you? What do you, they ask you some various questions so that they can start designing the show based on your requests. Den of Wolves, you can appreciate this because you know immediately things aren't always as they seem, and you like the way some of the questions... No, that would be wrong of me to say like that would be me puppeting your character. The person is very open. You can receive that however you would like.
Blaze is with Griff, right?
Yeah, I think
I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
I keep looking at the bottom of my screen and I'm putting them together in my mental image. So totally take that back.
Crisscross it.
Yeah, there, crisscross them. There you go.
Crisscross. Should we all do that little dance now? Oh, you can't
Jump,
see the legs.
jump.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
What I was talking about. I'm like, crisscross. All right. Woo! We do have dance party. By the way, if we ever do get somebody that spends the money to do dance party, it's like a 30-second dance party on screen. So, obviously Blaze will stand up and do crisscross and whatnot. It's like,
there you go.
don't break any computers or anything if we ever have to do that. Very quickly. Oh, I love it. If anybody can do I'm trying to remember what the
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Dr. Horrible, I can't remember his name right now, but he was actually, the reason he did that actually on screen was he said he had practiced to be a magician when he was younger in real life, and that was one of the things was learning finger control. That was so interesting.
He also brought it into Doogie Howser.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, oh yeah.
See, I didn't know that. So. I didn't watch Doogie. Sorry.
I'm Doogie.
I know you did.
Then Doogie turned out to be gay. Oh.
Your heart broke. You and 1,000 other women. So speaking of heartbreaks here, the Arakocra, you realize so much of this is about a show, and the person asks you if your wings are vestigial or real, or vestigial or functional.
Well, they're more functional. They're part of me. I use them every day. They're my greatest tool.
Okay, yeah, we use a lot of things here as tools, the person says. Do you need strings? Are we going to have to set up any pulleys to get you off the ground? I mean, while you find out very quickly, they're like, we wouldn't have to use anything too heavy because with the lighter gravity here underneath the Heavenly City, we can set it up pretty easy for you. Maybe a trampoline to help you jump higher.
You do know I can fly.
That a lot of this show is mostly make-believe and created with sleight of hand and smoke and mirrors.
The impression given to you is that if you don't have those abilities, they can help you look more like, so some of it is no, but a lot of it, you don't get any impression about that. There is no, you'd have to ask a generalized question. Do you want to ask that? Is the show mostly BS or?
Sure.
Like that? Yeah. Okay. So you directly start asking, and the person responds. They're like, some people actually have powers. Other people who come to join the circus are more of show tellers. Some people actually have different things, and we cater to both here. Our headliners are individuals that can actually do more. But even then, sometimes just because a person and they look at you, a person that can crack a whip may look like a dragon and may need to be able to spit alcohol and light it on fire to emulate breathing dragon fire. So we offer the full package. It doesn't diminish the fact that you're incredible with a whip. I already heard all the things about it and whatnot, because you're asking for the plates and whatnot. I understand you're really good, but perhaps we could also bring out a little of that, fire-breathing lizard thing for you too. We can help you do that as well so that your show is more comprehensive than just one-off. I'll skip over to Anna and Den of Wolves really quick. You follow the heavy muscle man down to where he's dragging these 3 carts, and you can actually see they're set up for numerous carts, and they're building a tent around them as well to not only offer privacy to these creations, but you quickly learn that they will have a walkthrough for individuals, and they'll charge money to individuals to be able to walk through and see the creatures in the tent. And they wonder if either one of you are animal handlers. Is that why you're here? Are you interested in that?
That's definitely not one of my skills. I'm more acrobatic.
Are you? He goes, I wouldn't have known by the bow on your back and whatnot. He goes, I thought maybe you were like a trick marksman and stuff. But, you know,
Could do that too, yeah, honestly. Yeah.
well, we have both those things. We have acrobatics. We have marksmanry. He goes,
Could combine them.
well, that would really be saying something. He goes, we haven't had anybody like that since little Lucy left the circus.
Wouldn't be too difficult for me to combine the two.
Well, he goes, you'll want to talk to the circus master about that. He goes, you might want to mention, that you're a replacement for little Lucy, and, she'll know exactly what that means.
Well, we're trying to decide if we want to stay or not and for how long. We agreed to help out tonight's show.
Oh, wonderful. That'll let us all see what you have to offer, the big man says. He goes, I can personally say, he goes, I'd love to be able to see you for longer than just tonight if you chose to stick around.
So I start flirting with him because I realize I'm picking up that vibe. And I just figure I might get more info that way. But if we decide to leave at any point, is it difficult to leave if, we decide it's not for us?
He goes, we leave places all the time. We travel all over this world. He goes, we're never in one place for too long. He goes, so no, he goes, you'll never be stuck and whatnot. He goes, in fact, he goes, and one of the animals makes some noise. He goes, you'll have to excuse me. He goes, I need to take care of that and whatnot really quick. So he steps away, starts handling the animal that has those, what I tell you, really furry and hanging from the string. He goes under there and you hear him start talking in a very soothing voice, very soothing, trying to calm it down and whatnot.
I go to whisper to Den of Wolves, and I'm like, I'm not sure he really answered my question about leaving the circus.
No, he actually just completely sidetracked it.
Right?
You're correct.
Uh-huh.
It was not very encouraging.
No. Definitely not.
So he should have let the animal scream.
No, the problem is he said we leave places a lot. He didn't say anything about leaving the circus.
Well, ask him again. He probably misunderstood you. Wow. Always looking down on people. Wolves, Dad, don't you be bravoing him. Jeez.
This is how we kill quest givers. This is how we kill them.
You probably just did. He's probably under there getting mauled by an animal right now.
Killing anybody.
That's his own fault.
Listen, I just noticed a trend. I saw a red flag, and that's it's going on in my brain right now. This is gonna end with us just killing everybody.
No.
Anna's like, wrong game. Not us. Not our fault. Anna's like, I wasn't part of it.
So yeah, definitely tonight we can get to know all these people and we can figure. But maybe we can definitely stick around long enough to get up into the city in the sky there, the heavenly city.
Yeah, clearly, they've already got an
that's
invite.
whether or not
So
we
if we
leave,
play our cards right, we can go right up with them.
The problem is the ship leaves tomorrow too. So if we are leaving the ship, then we can stick with them. If we're not, then we can't.
Yeah, that's true.
We can always
figure
find
that
a ride.
out. But we'll find that out tonight at the
I'm gonna real quick telepath over to Blaze and just be like, "You guys find anything?"
What are you using to do that?
My psychic whispers. I set it up earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, before we departed.
I wanted to make sure it
set
wasn't
that up.
message spell because I was about to say you got to be able to point in the direction.
No, yeah.
You don't know.
No, it's a
We're
feature of
getting
my class.
answers to basic questions. Nothing that really stands out.
Okay.
Very nice.
They're pretty normal too.
See, not everybody's a quest giver. Quit expecting everybody.
Not everybody.
That makes them safe from the killing. As long as they're not a quest giver, they're safe.
That gives them a shield, a little plot shield.
Small
Just in
shield.
case.
Very small shield.
Very small shield, but a shield nonetheless.
Well,
Also, and a dual acrobatics marksmanship. I throw daggers, you fire a bow, we both flip. It's cool.
Oh, there we go, right?
About 3 hours later, you've already gathered back up. It's pretty much easy to find, strangers who are in here because the circus operates like a family and you're the strangers. A couple of times people do want to usher you out, but you quickly drop Arimathea's name and they, okay, hey, look, what can we answer for you and whatnot. So you found some of the rudimentary answers, not only about the layout of the circus, where they traveled from. They actually just came in off of the ship. One of the questions that you had asked was, again, where from. They had actually come in all the way from a place called Greywater, which they described as this dingy, you can't even really call it a town. It's unclear why the circus even set up there and whatnot. But they docked. There was a dock there. The boat, in fact, they talk about it, almost ran aground twice just trying to make it dock because the boat was too heavy for it and whatnot. To get in here. Yeah. So an interesting thing that you do find out is oftentimes they don't use, because they don't own their own ship, oftentimes they are on multiple smaller ships and whatnot. They do try to travel less by boat. Animals don't like it. It tends to raise the cost and whatnot. So they stayed in the mainland, but for some reason, in this case, they had to get there to get to, again, onto this boat, these set of boats that were, again, getting out from Greywater to get down here all the way to the south. So there was, an unexpected detour to get down here. All this, obviously being booked for the Heavenly City, there was only this tight window, and so they cut off their normal route that would have brought them down towards a wealthy place nearby, where they would sometimes get people to come from the Heavenly City. This will be their first time ever in the Heavenly City that the individual, and you guys have each talked to people, so this can gather from both groups. Their first time ever in the Heavenly City itself. Normally they're down here in the lower area, not in the City of Shadows. They don't, in fact, they tell you that. We normally don't do dingy areas like the City of Shadows. We try to find nicer areas, lighting and whatnot works. And people, they do the show at night, but they find more people will come if you're in a nice bright spot. This is just the circus master decided that they would do this free show here first, down below. 2 of them actually for free tonight and tomorrow morning before they headed up to the Heavenly City.
Found that very interesting.
Free, it's entrance to be able to get into the main circus is free. Not all the attractions, you quickly find out. Attractions cost separately. Sometimes this is easily learned. Sometimes they have, just to get into the circus itself, there's a fee, and then you pay for different attractions. In this case, it's allowing people to come in, walk around and whatnot, but if they actually want to pay to see an attraction, they would pay to then come in, such as the animals and whatnot. You would pay to get into that tent and then see those. So the circus does make money.
Okay.
So who gives us our schedule for performances?
They'll get all that in combination with the meeting that you're about to have now with the circus master.
All right.
I was just giving you time before we rush you into that in case you guys wanted to share any information with each other.
Dinner.
Or make any plans.
No, we shared our info. We all pretty much found the same thing, I think.
All in accordance with getting by till we get into the upper city.
Yeah.
The tent, remember she had talked about a wagon and you would recognize it? Well, the wagon is easily identifiable because out from the side of it comes this beautiful gold shimmering cover that acts like a tent, and around it is this almost fully transparent see-through shimmering net that keeps out any bugs or anything else. This is where you're led to for Arimathea. And on the side of it, the one thing that would have made you recognize it instantly, even if this tent was not coming out from the side, is painted on the end of it, this top hat along the side, from the very bottom of the wagon to the top of it, and it is the top hat that Arimathea wears. You're brought over there, told where to find her and whatnot, and you can see through the transparent tent that she's sitting at a table doing some work on a ledger and whatnot, and almost like sensing your approach, she stands up, waves to you, says, "Come on in," goes over to it, runs her hand along the edge, and it parts out, and she holds it open for each of you to enter, and she goes, "Come in, friends, come in, I'm so glad you're here."
Mm-hmm.
Did my family make you welcome?
Oh, yes.
They were
most
very
certainly.
inviting, very
Wonderful.
accommodating.
Wonderful. And you, my fine cat friend, you're so silent. Does Kitty need a scratch? I'm just kidding. I know you're not a cat. She says, but you're definitely a feline sort. It's good to see you laugh. Come in, Laughs. You should be called Laughs with Wolves.
I'll think
No.
about it. That's
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Well, I heard that, when you were near the Wolfman, he had a particular, shall we say, difficult time when you got close. Something about a tail. What was that exactly? And you can recall that you did meet this man who was extremely furry. He was not a wolf, and he did have pointed teeth, but he was a humanoid and whatnot. He hadn't mentioned that he was called the Wolfman, but you can quickly know who she was talking about because of the whole tail incident. What
yeah.
exactly happened with that?
I don't react nicely when people step on my tail, and I may have scared him a lot with daggers.
She goes, so few do.
No blood was shed.
She goes, I have to commend you on how you handled yourself. But I really would have liked to see him jump as high as I heard he jumped. She goes, truly, when he usually growls, people back away from him, but to hear that you growled and he backed away, she just laughs and says, please come in. You need to sit near me. And she pats your arm gently. She goes, truly. She goes, and all of you, she goes, I want you to know these benches are very strong and will not break under your weight. Even the fat man, when he comes in, has not broken one of my benches. I'm very proud of this. So don't let their looks discourage you at all. Sit, friend, sit. And you come over to the table and she goes, let me get a drink. She goes, it's getting near dinner time. Did you partake of any of the food in the fare that we had here? Did you ask anybody for food?
No.
Not at the moment, no.
She goes, the rumors were true then. She goes, I don't know how you can walk around this family and not eat, but she goes, let me get you something special. She goes, just one moment. And she goes over to the steps, which hang off the side of the wagon, and she lifts her leg and steps up and goes inside for a moment. You can hear some things move about as she kind of gets some things happening. And a moment later, she comes out and gently, hangs onto the side, and she's balancing as if not even paying about this tray that barely fits through the door. It's a silver tray, and on it you can see a pitcher of water, some glasses, and some sort of food heaped up. And she's hanging onto the side as she gently steps down, and you realize she's wearing high-heeled boots as she does so. She does all this walking around in these high-heeled boots that clearly that must be where the extra 4 inches come from, because I told you she's about 5'4" high. And she gets down, never once spilling a drop, and then grabs a tray with 2 hands, brings it over to the table, and puts it out. And as it hits the table, there's a good thunk. It's heavy. On it is this pitcher of what looks like, with dew dripping down the sides, condensation, cold liquid. It's got ice in it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Cold drinks here. Who would have imagined? She's got glasses and gives you each one. Pitcher of water with what appears to be some sort of yellow fruit inside it and whatnot, floating along and whatnot. And there, pitched up, is all these little delectables, also chilled. They appear to be thinly sliced vegetables placed on, it looks like a bread type item. And also along with it are some small poppable vegetables, deep luscious purples, and there's a dipping sauce over there, and then what appears to be small sausages, perhaps just about the length of your finger, as well as some other meat snacks there. She says, help yourself, friends. Anything that you'd like. Each of them has toothpicks put in them to help you serve. The dippable spread, she says. She goes, has a knife there. She goes, try some of that on the toast points. You'll love it.
So Griff, when he sees that picture, initially he was super excited seeing her walk in with a pitcher, and then saw that it was clear, and was like, in his brain, it could be vodka. It could be vodka. It doesn't have to be water. So when she puts down the pitcher and everything like that, and the glasses and everything like that, notices that there's the fruit in the water or whatever water right now. He's just like, grabs the cup and just like sniffs it and goes, damn it. and then notices that it's actually just water with fruit in it, and is super disappointed.
Oh my.
She
I'm
says,
proud of you, my alcoholic.
"It
friend.
tastes wonderful. You'll love it. You'll love it."
But there's no alcohol at all? Nothing? Just water?
Well, we could. She goes, "But I figure we're talking about your show. You know, alcohol in the show." She goes, "I can get you something if you'd really like it. But let's have this
And-
conversation first and find out what you're doing."
Well,
Whatever. Okay.
You are whereas Den of Wolves is on the right, you are on her left, and then the half elf and the Dragonborn are at the far end of the table. Far is an operative term. The table's only about 8 feet long, so we're all within each touching of one another. She sits at the head of the table where she folds up the book that she was working on and puts it down on the floor beside her and whatnot. So there's just the food on the table and whatnot. There's some of the papers there that she has left are blank and whatnot. So she goes, "Tell me, what are you excited to do in the show?" She goes, "You've had a look at some of the things that we do. What is your plan for tonight?" And she's very excited. How can I
what was
support
little Lucy's show?
Oh, you heard about little Lucy? She goes, "Oh, such a break to my heart when she chose to leave." She goes, "Little Lucy was the world's only flying gnome. She had these beautiful gossamer wings, and oh, you should have seen her, 2.5 feet tall. She would fly up almost, her little wings beating so fast. She said they came from a moth." She goes, "But I think they were angel wings. You could see through them. They were beautiful. And she would fly around through hoops, and she had this little golden bow, and she would shoot things out of the sky." She goes, "I actually got will-o-wisps to actually come and be part of the show just for her. It was so exciting." She was with us, for, I think it was 4 years. She was with us. 4 years, 5 months, and 3 days. Oh, little Lucy, she was a delight to everyone that saw her. Oh, what a break. I hear she's living in the Freelands now. She was, at least that's where she said she was going. We left her in Westerling and whatnot when she departed, and you can actually see Arimathea tear up. She tries to hide it as her hand brushes her thing. She goes, "Little Lucy was a delight." Oh.
Well, I don't fly, but I could do some kind of acrobatic archery type
Thing.
performance.
Acrobatics and archery. Don't you need both hands to shoot a bow? I mean, little Lucy had wings.
But do you need both hands to swing?
Well, I guess you could talk to the individuals who have the opposable, appendages on their feet, their toes. So you really don't need to swing. I mean, you could swing from your feet. She totally misunderstands.
It's a combination of things. You do the acrobatics to get to certain things, and then you shoot, and you do some more acrobatics, and then you shoot.
You want the big tent. Oh, the main attraction type stuff. So you want us to set you up where you could jump from high places to other high places and do archery things. We could set up some flaming rings. We could have some illusionary birds fly, or real ones. I don't want to take away from you. She looks to Den of Wolves and says, we know people need to eat too. So whatever you would like. She goes, but just so you know, the crowd doesn't tend to like to be covered in blood and things. So if you're going to shoot any of this, you can't have anything come down.
Targets.
Okay, so the illusionary targets, we can do that. We could do illusionary birds that go into showers of light when you're done. Oh, we can set this up for you. I know just who I would need to connect you with. Do you already have your show planned out for the distances, the jumps and whatnot, where we could build you the platforms?
I'm sure I could figure something out.
How about a floating disc? We have an individual that's able to cantrip 3 floating discs at a time. It sounds a little bit better than it is because he can't move them around, but he can summon them into different positions all simultaneously. That's his talent. No other wizard in the world can do it.
Oh. Okay. Maybe I could learn a thing or two from him.
I think we can
how to
make
shoot
that
arrows? He
two-person
doesn't shoot
show, too.
arrows.
about magic.
She looks and she says, acrobatics, archery, magic. She looks over to the laughing Tabaxi and says, and your show. What are you hoping to show us tonight?
Actually, I was talking to Anna, and I was saying I could also, we could do a duel words. We could do it together, and I could throw daggers at the targets, and we could both do acrobatics across the disc. Two people would be even more impressive,
Right?
and flashy.
Like just missing each other. And
What is your actual charisma as the Tabaxi?
16.
16. So, you know, as you're talking and whatnot, you describe this beautiful thing of going back and forth, tossing things to one another, and she talks about the targets in between that you could shatter. Oh, and she gets really excited, so she goes, a dual show, and what shall we call you? What shall we call this amazing routine?
Anna's the expert at naming.
Anna's the expert at aiming. It's kind of a long
I hate
title.
this lady.
Even though you said
No.
naming, she purposely
Name.
twisted it. And she goes,
Well,
know.
Anna and her cat.
the Tabaxi's eyes go wide. She goes, I don't think you know. So, in the meantime, Griffin, I'm going to send you a quick message.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think so.
No,
A
as
flying.
graceful as the graceful duo, graceful.
Just call flying marksmanship or something.
Ooh, flying marksmanship. I kind of like that. I kind of like flying marksmanship. That could work.
I couldn't think of
There's
another
Robin
word
Hood. It
for
could be the Flying Graysons.
Oh.
The flying
I'm so sad
Graysons?
Robin's not here now.
Oh, get it now. Took me a minute. So, have we finalized the name then? Flying marksmanship? She was, it's not very
that might work.
catchy, but I'll work on that. How's this? You leave it up
Okay.
to me, and I will take care of it for you. She goes, and you two, and she looks to the bird and the Dragonborn. She goes, what of your shows? Which one of you has come up with? What are you doing? She looks for whichever one of you flinches first to like makes eye contact.
I reach over and pick up this fedora that I had found in the clothing section and pop it on my head, and I kind of hold my whip up in the air, and I say, "You kind of already seen what I can do, but I'm going to be cracking some plates and having them chuck some mugs up in the air that I'm going to shatter and light some candles. I'm going to put those out with my whip."
I see. I can picture it in my mind now. Texas Jimmy, the amazing whip cracker. Or do you have a stage name?
Indiana Blaze.
Indiana Blaze.
She's like, I like it. Indiana Blaze, who will light your fire and put all other lights out. No other light. Oh, perfect for the City of Shadow. We can do this. Indiana Blaze it will be. Oh, I can set all this up and whatnot. You and that whip will be amazing. We'll save you for the finale. It'll be wonderful. Or maybe we should do you as a headliner. Oh, I'll have to think of it. Can you be ready in time? Is there any drawbacks, anything else? She goes, I knew you asked for plates and whatnot. Now you're talking about flames. Oh, I like the flames better. She was definitely. Oh, she gets really excited and starts talking about details, what you'd like, other things, before finally turning to Den of Wolves. You, my Tabaxi friend, and she knows exactly what you are. Like I said, and now you realize when she joked about a kitty before. She's like, you, my Tabaxi friend, what of your show? What will you bring to the Cirque
With
Nuega?
me.
Oh, that's
We
right.
talked, yeah.
Nothing on your own, though? You're just going to do it with him? Or
Her.
with her. Sorry. My bad.
It's okay.
Do
It's
it with
easily
her.
confused.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think the circus master got it wrong. That
I
was
am
strictly
not
the DM, but...
easily confused. Thank you.
Oof.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Of course you're not, dear. Of course you're not. And, of course, her chest is like, I don't know, 5 times the size of poor Anna, who's a half elf.
But
Half elves aren't exactly endowed like humans and whatnot. So,
It's okay.
but you maybe are the exception that we don't know about. Are you?
I have a chest.
I didn't say you have no chest. I'm just saying that she's voluptuous. She is well chested by comparison. Yeah.
Well chested.
She could.
Just get my Relics
She,
of War
she will win
icon.
in the cleavage heaving contest. That's for sure.
Oh God.
You know, which, by the way, you did hear they will be having tonight. Then she looks to the Arakocra, since the Tabaxi is definitely working with the half elf, and she goes, "We now have Indiana Blaze. What shall I call you, my winged friend? You, master of flame, master of flying."
Yes. You shall call me the Burning Phoenix.
The burning phoenix. I can see it now. Your red wings on fire. How shall we do that? I didn't hear that you had asked about any heatless oils.
Actually, I will require about a pool of water. Actually, that's about it. Just give me a pool of water.
And some vodka.
A pool of water.
Make the whole pool vodka.
That would be a expensive and possibly life-altering thing. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit more about what you're planning, and let me
Okay.
see if the circus master can make it work for
So,
you.
if we cannot do vodka, that's totally fine. We'll just go with water. But I will shape the water with my powers.
I'm not
use
seeing the
that.
flame yet. Okay.
Oh, of course not. Not yet. Hold on. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So, I'll shape the water into ice, into separate balls of targets. With that, I will shoot my flames as I fly around the circus tent and produce a steam cloud where I will disappear. Yes.
I'm picturing. So we provide the water. You boil the water and magically turn it into steam. So there's the flame, the flaming phoenix, and the phoenix flies in and then is gone. You know, I like your flaming phoenix name. What if we took your idea and we added the flame to you? And then as you flew around with the flames, they would get this idea of a true phoenix flying. And as you flew into the mist, the flames would go out and you disappear.
Well, if you can make me on fire without me burning alive and actually screaming to death, then yes, I'm totally for that.
Challenge accepted. And she claps her hands.
my.
She goes,
Wonderful,
we can do
guys.
this.
I'm going to be on fire.
She goes,
Great.
we can make
That's not
this
far
work.
for you.
You and Indiana Blaze over here. In fact, maybe for the finale of Indiana Blaze's act, after putting out all these other flames, with one final crack, he shall light his friend on fire. And then you can fly around casting your own fire, lighting this out. Oh, this will be magnificent. And we can even work in the Magnificent Misfits together by leading off with our Tabaxi and our half-elf as they do their act, shooting these things down until finally the things they shoot down alight the fires that Indiana Blaze below will be putting out with his whip-cracking thing as they drop down. And then for the finale, as the flaming phoenix comes in, oh, the show will be magnificent. I can definitely put this together. Oh, we have this now, friends. We have everything laid out. You've detailed your circus life to me. Oh, we'll see you do this tonight and the crowd will go wild. We'll start advertising it today. I'll send out some of the criers and whatnot. But you're working with flame and I have to protect the circus, so yes. Yes.
It'll be okay.
They need to be protected. No. She says,
We're
no. I've
professionals.
kept my curls for a long time and we need to put precautions in place. You're
course.
sure you can work with your flames and the water and whatnot, and you said you can shape water, so obviously you can
Well,
put the flames out. I will
course.
provide all the extras. I will provide the magic lifts, the patterns. You said you needed this. She points to each one of you. Yes, I can do this.
Everybody sees Griff kind of with his wing coming up and just like a short Woo! Jesus. That was some good water. Never mind.
Very
What
good.
are we doing?
Keep your flames out. That's good. And
Oh,
whatnot.
yes, of course.
And she says, all right, so one show only, just tonight, main attraction. She says, the way that I've described, beginning with the Magnificent Misfits shall headline, and what's your name? And she points to the Tabaxi.
My name's Den of Wolves.
Of course, Den of Wolves. And you, my half-elf friend, what is your name?
Anna Valerious.
And by now, none of you need to make perception rolls or anything. You can see that as she's talking, these blank pages in front of her have begun to fill with words. She goes, and you'll be up high, juggling back and forth, putting out the flames, and as she's describing the act, it's all coming out on the page and whatnot. She goes, where Indiana Blaze will be putting out the small flames down below, the things that fall, the pieces. He'll be whip cracking them. So I'll have to provide ways to funnel them down to him. That won't be your responsibility. You just take care of putting them out. I don't want you getting hurt and whatnot. They'll come down to Indiana Blaze, and your name is? She points to the Dragonborn.
Blaze.
Indiana Blaze.
No, that is your stage name. What is your real
His
name?
real name.
Blaze.
Did you just say Blaze?
Blaze.
She says, no, your real name. She goes, that's fine for other people. I get it. Indiana Blaze. But what is your name?
Blayzegorgonythrillxred.
And as you do, the line starts going across the page, wraps around, and keeps going across the page, and wraps around, and keeps going, and then finally it stops. She says, excellent. She goes, and I'll make sure that it all funnels directly to you. And then you, my winged friend, you shall be the finale. You as Indiana Blaze. And the words continue to come out. Well, finally, with one final crack, which may even look like an accident, she says, we could do that. And your whip will go wild and hit your friend, who will light on fire and take off. And the flames won't hurt you. That was part of our agreement. So my friends will have to make sure that happens. Your wings will be on fire. You'll take aloft, where you immediately will start taking parts of this flame on you, hurling it into the water, creating a steam cloud effect, of which you will then throw yourself into, extinguishing your flames, and you will be responsible for the disappearing. And what is your name again?
Griff.
Griff?
Griff.
No, your full name. What is your name?
Griffin.
Griffin. And again, the words continue down below. And she says, and you shall be responsible for putting out your own flames. I don't have to be responsible for that. Just no heat in the flames. She goes, and then from there, the crowd will be covered in this mist. The mist shall depart, and you will be gone. Your friends will look on in shock and wonder. And from there, the lights will go out, and I will come out. One spotlight left as the misfits leave the stage, and I talk about the wonders they've seen, and we prepare for the next day, welcoming them back. Yes, you will be the... Wait, should it be for the next day? And she stops and she thinks, she goes, maybe headlining the entire show. Yes. No, she goes, that could go badly if you're not up to the full skills. You are certain that you can do all these things, right? You do guarantee that you will not...
I touched the paper and cast Identify.
Check Identify. I don't think that's a one-action spell. I think that's
says it's 1 minute, and you need to touch, and it says duration's instantaneous.
Yeah, but it takes a minute to cast it. So in other words, you start casting the whole spell and everything else in which you're holding it and whatnot. And as soon as you reach out to the paper, she slaps her hand away. She's like, no. No. She goes, you'll interfere with our contract for tonight. She goes, where was I? And the whole time she was like, no, the words had stopped and whatnot. So it literally, it's not recording just every word. It's not a quill of Harry Potterness.
Yeah.
So it's, she goes, should I headline? She goes, if I headline and you mess it up, it would mess up all the other shows. But if I save you for the final act, it would be down. Oh, I don't know. And she seems quite confused. And you see her pulling at her curls, and she starts chewing on some of the curly hair, and she's like, oh, choices. Can you guarantee that you can do all you say? And she seems very serious now, the circus master.
For the most part, yeah.
She now pulls down curls from the other side and starts chewing on those two. I'm taking a big risk. All right. She slaps her hand down. She goes, I'm trusting you. You will be the final act of the night. Yes, yes. You shall guarantee to do it all. And you, Indiana Blaze. And then what were your other stage names? Griff? Or no, the Flying Phoenix. That was it.
Burning Phoenix. The Burning Phoenix.
The Flaming Phoenix. That's right. And this is the D I'm trying to remember. And what did you call yourself, Half Elf?
We were together. We were the
something of
flying
aiming.
Marksmanship. Flying marksmanship.
I thought it was Anna's aiming. And then the cat maybe or something like that.
No, she tried to say Anna and her cat, and then that quickly got rejected.
Yeah, but then you said
that's not her
naming,
cat.
and she turned it to aiming. I don't remember what that was. Yeah,
That's where, that was when I said Anna's in charge of naming or something, and you said Anna's in charge, incredible aiming.
that was it. Anna's incredible aiming. Anna's incredible aiming, which again I still think is a little bit long, but we'll work on that. And then what should we call you, Den of Wolves? What should we call you?
He's with me. That was.
I know
we were
that, but he
trying to
needs a
come up with
stage
choice.
name. Den of Wolves. People will be looking for dogs and barking and things like that. What should we call you?
Amazing. No.
Amazing.
Anna's amazing.
Night Howl.
Anna and the Amazing. That's it. It'll be Anna and the Amazing. Wonderful. The Magnificent
I
Misfits
agree.
are named.
I love
She goes,
this.
and that's it. You shall do the show tonight. I can see it now. And you swear that the tent is somehow brighter as she says it. And you realize that everybody can make a perception roll.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Everybody's like, no, not perception. Stop
Here we
it.
go.
Nice.
Wow, these are the
Damn.
rolls.
Super perceptive tonight.
It's a group perception, so no matter what Brock rolls, it's going to hit.
Blaze had a 19.
Wow!
Hell
You
yeah.
guys notice it's not just that the tent seems brighter. This see-through mesh has begun to glow gold. You wouldn't see it. It's not something that most people would ever pick up on, but you can tell by the shadows on the table and whatnot that the lighting is literally coming from all around you now. Not only has it gotten darker outside, but literally, as this is all done, and she says, that's it. The Magnificent Misfits headlining the Cirque de Nuevo for a one-time show in the City of Shadows. The Magnificent Misfits bring light. And she says it again, and the tent becomes brighter until we leave the crowd, having seen the light, to walk out into the darkness once more. She puts both hands down on the paper, and the light around you goes out, and suddenly it's just normal light. And you can see from beyond the dimly lit mesh that keeps the flies out, the flames that the circus performers had put around tonight. And that's where we'll pick it up tomorrow with tonight.
Next week.
Next week, not tomorrow, yes. We'll pick up next week. Yes, I will not be back tomorrow. If you tune
We'll pick
in,
up tomorrow
you can only
with
click
next
us. Wow, wonderful. This has been fantastic. I want to thank Will's dad and everybody else who tuned in tonight for tonight's show, where we have just found out that our intrepid team has chosen to go a little off track from where the DM planned. Not only did they go into the city, they've entered the City of Shadows, and now apparently joined the circus for a one-night show. So exciting. This was a
Plan
great
on
time.
having them send a thing to Robin so Robin can come see the show.
That's right. Robin's got to see this. I got to teach him how to fly. He's got to watch.
Yeah, but not Mars and stuff, huh? They can't come see this. Just
No, just Robin.
love it. All
We can
right,
get him
well,
up on the trapeze.
Yes. That's the next step. That's like a stepping stone to flying. You're right. Oh my god. Oh god.
I'm saying nothing. Well, let's say our goodbyes to all our friends. Let's start off with Blaze. He's laughing really good. Blaze, you start us off and then pick your Vic to say your thanks and your goodbyes while I find out who we're going to actually go and
All right.
pick up.
Thanks everybody for joining in and watching another episode. Had a blast tonight, as I always do. Look forward to seeing you all here again next week. Bring some friends. Take it away, Katrin.
Alrighty. It's fun joining the circus tonight. Hopefully our one-time performance will be awesome. And then we may stick around just to hitch a ride up to that heavenly city. We'll have to wait till next week and find out what happens, huh? And I will pass it off to Eric.
All right. Yeah, so super excited. This is going to be very interesting to see next week, to see all of our performances. I'm really excited if everything goes exactly as planned or as probably expected, horribly wrong. But thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. Hope we see you next week. So I'll throw it off to Mike.
Thank you, everyone, for coming and watching our fun little game/performance and all kinds of craziness that will ensue next week with the actual performance. For those who were so sad when Sean said he wouldn't be back tomorrow, you can come check me at twitch.tv/OrioXWolf, who will be live playing Smite tomorrow. And if you check out my Twitter, same name, I will put up my schedule for the week there.
Sweet. I know I will come in and tune in to be part of that and whatnot. In the meantime, I'm going to do something a little unusual. I normally don't go after all the big stuff, but tonight we're actually going to raid Felicia Day, so I don't expect they'll be doing any shout-outs back. The reason I'm doing it is because the Guild, remember the show The Guild, is playing D&D, and it's on Felicia Day's channel. So we're going to be raiding them, and I want you to come over there, do lots of shout-outs, give lots of love as we get ready to go over there and raid Felicia Day. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for being here with us, being part of the Plot Point Show. Whatever table you're at, make it the best table possible. Happy gaming, and God bless, friends. And now I need to hit the start right now. Boom.